This episode contains discussions of manipulative and abusive relationships, as well as death. Listen at your own discretion. It is Tuesday, the 22nd of April, 2025. My name is Pigeon Rose, and this is my song of the day. The structure of this podcast was always built around my birthday. It started the day before my 29th birthday, and it's going to end 4 days after my 30th birthday. And so as we're getting to the end of the podcast, we're getting towards my birthday, which is the 30th of April. But what's funny is that a lot of the important people in my life have birthdays in April. Earlier in the month, we had my boyfriend Eddie's birthday, so I did Master of Puppets. And today is my other boyfriend Emil's birthday, so we're doing Whispering Glades by Nicole Dollanganger. Now, Nicole Dollanganger is a singer who I probably wouldn't have gotten into without Emil's suggestion, kind of like Maria Mena that I talked about before. But it took me longer to get into Nicole Dollanganger because I liked her lyrical style, but her music took me a bit longer to get into because her early stuff is very specific, very lo-fi. Her songs are kind of samey. So it took me a bit to properly get into her music. But then in 2021, she released this song, Whispering Glades, and Emil showed it to me, and we both just fell in love with it immediately. It's so fucking good, and this song is what got me to go back and listen to the rest of her stuff. Now, if you don't know much about her, she's a Canadian-American singer. Like I said, started off doing very lo-fi stuff, very minimalist. She does a kind of a high-pitched voice, and she talks about a lot of very grim and macabre subject matter, and this song is no exception on that front. But I don't know, there's just something about it that I love this song. And every so often I'll listen to it and I'll text Emil and be like, just your reminder that Whispering Glades is really good. And he'll do the same to me because we both just love the song. And again, this song isn't representative of mine and Emil's relationship, obviously. That's what 3 million years is. But it's just that this is a song that we both love a lot. And I was like, well, I definitely want to talk about it on the podcast, so why don't I talk about it on your birthday? So here we are. So let's go listen to it now and then come back in a few minutes and talk about it. And that was Whispering Glades by Nicole Dollanganger. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of what this song is about, I want to establish one thing right out the gate. Why is this song called Whispering Glades? Well, it comes up at the end of the song. She says, there's a space waiting for you in Whispering Glades. So one assumes that it's a cemetery. And I kept seeing reference on Genius and on Reddit that Whispering Glades is the nickname for a cemetery in Hollywood called Forest Lawn Memorial Park, which makes sense because she mentions Hollywood suits you, darling, right? So that makes sense to me. But none of these things were cited any sources, and I was like, well, why do people call it that? Why is it called that? Or why do people say that it's called that? So I eventually, through some Googling, discovered that Evelyn Waugh, the English writer, who I have read one book of, I read Vile Bodies. I haven't read Bride's Head Revisited, but I've read Vile Bodies. He wrote a book called The Loved One, which involves a cemetery called Whispering Glades, and it's based on Forest Lawn Memorial Park. And when the book was adapted into a movie, they based it very much on Forest Lawn Memorial Park. So I don't know if Evelyn Waugh is the source of calling it Whispering Glades, but that's a source I've found, so that's good enough for me. Anyway, the song itself is about imagining the death of presumably an ex, but it's someone who is manipulative, an abuser. Imagining their funeral and imagining all the people there who they have manipulated, who will be sad, and just feeling bad for all the people that this person has hurt over the years, It's an interesting topic, I'll tell you what, and a relatable one. I've thought about these kinds of things about people. I mean, I think we just start off going into the lyrics, although I will say, I love a song, I know I've talked about pedal steel mostly, but I love a song that has a weird noise in it, and I love this song's little... I love that. Anyway, let's go into the lyrics. When you're dead and buried with a smile painted on your face, your eulogy like poetry flowers overwhelming the wake, where I'm sure as in your life there will be beautiful women there in your death, crying out they swear they will love you until their very own last dying breath, 'cause you just have this way of charming those who catch your eye like shiny things. With a face made for daytime TV shows, you're a nightmare disguised as a good dream. When she wants a garden, you give her a rose. Just the taste of something you could give her, but you won't. When she wants a garden, you give her a rose, and you know it. So, when you're dead and buried with a smile painted on your face. So, saying that this person will die satisfied and happy, right? But using the phrase dead and buried is very final, very cold, you know? Your eulogy like poetry, so you'll be eulogized in a seemingly complimentary or beautiful way. Flowers overwhelming the wake lets people who brought you flowers, where I'm sure as in your life there will be beautiful women there in your death. So this person surrounded himself with beautiful women because these were his victims, you know? Crying out, they swear they will love you until their very own last dying breath. So it's that control thing of making people depend on you, and when you take away the love, they're too committed at that point, right? And so when he dies, there will be people there who are like, oh, I'll love you until I die as well, and it's just sad, you know, because you just have this way of charming those who catch your eye like shiny things. Very much, not itemizing, what's the word? Objectifying these women, you know, saying that they catch your eye like shiny things, like you're a fucking magpie and you're seeing these women and being like, ooh, I'll collect her, you know, I'll add her to the collection. I'm just thinking of Bluebeard now. Ugh, that's a disturbing image. Anyway, with a face made for daytime TV shows, you're a nightmare disguised as a good dream. I love that line because a face made for daytime TV shows, you're saying that they're attractive, but the fact that it's daytime TV shows, also, it feels like it's not a compliment. Like, you're not a face for prime time, you're not a face for the movies, you're a face from daytime TV. So I feel like that's like kind of a backhanded compliment in a way. But anyway, you're a nightmare disguised as a good dream. Just talking about this facade of being nice and good and attractive when really they're a manipulative piece of shit. And the chorus is so masterful. I love it. When she wants a garden, you give her a rose. Just a taste of something you could give her, but you won't. Just, it's a perfect 1-2 punch. It sets up a metaphor and then explains it for you immediately. She wants a garden. She wants romance. She wants passion. She wants love. And he gives her a rose, which represents those things, but it's not what she wanted. It's not enough. It's a breadcrumb, you know? When she wants a garden, you give her a rose, and you know it. And this is intentional. You know it, you know? But you just have your ways, what with all of those grotesque displays of love you show, ripped from pages of books, every word which you know, and recite back to them as if they were your own. I feel sorry for them because how could they know till they've died by your hands, till they've felt the cold. I want to point something out here because I disagree with the lyrics on Genius again. It says, till they felt the cold, cut off your sharp tongue. But I think it's till they felt the cold cut of your sharp tongue. It sounds more like that, and that makes more sense to me. With your delusions of grandeur, yea, you give nothing and think it too much. And then the chorus again. So, you just have your ways, what with all those grotesque displays of love you show. Calling them grotesque displays of love is a really interesting phrasing. They're ugly, they're gross, they're disgusting because they're fake and they're manipulative, you know. Ripped from pages of books, every word which you know, and recite back to them as if they were your own. You're not even being original, you're plagiarizing. You're stealing other people's ideas, you're playing the game, right? And they don't know that you're doing that because they don't read these shitty books. I feel sorry for them because how could they know till they've died by your hands, till they've felt the cold cut of your sharp tongue. Apart from the chorus, that's my favorite line of the song here. You know, she feels sorry for them because how could they know? You're a master manipulator. People fall for it, and they can only know once they've been hurt. They have to go through that to understand the truth, you know, till they've died by your hands, till they've felt the cold cut of your sharp tongue. With your delusions of grandeur, yea, you give nothing and think it too much. Oh, good Lord. You give nothing and think it too much. Oh, it's just such an awful thing. And then the chorus again, although the chorus is slightly different this time. It's, and when she wants a garden, you give her a rose, and I'll bet you have to hide your grin as you watch it die in your arms. When she wants a garden, you give her a rose, and you know it. That's so, hide your grin as you watch it die in your arms, like you want to see her suffer, you want to see it wither, the love wither, you know. And then the outro, when you're dearly departed, there will be all those broken-hearted, but I'll have a smile painted on my face. There's a spot on the grass waiting for you at Whispering Glades, and Hollywood suits you, darling, I think you should stay. Such a perfect ending, you know. When you're dearly departed, there will be all those broken-hearted, but I'll have a smile painted on my face, reflecting how he'll have a smile in the grave. It's like, you know, there will be all these people who tricked, but I'll be happy that you're fucking dead. There's a spot in the grass waiting for you, Whispering Glades. Almost sounds like a threat, but it's like, you know, you will die, you will be buried, and Hollywood suits you, darling, I think you should stay. I feel she's implying that he's fake like Hollywood, and that's where he should fucking live out his eternal rest, right? Well, not live out, but you know what I mean? I just love this song. I love the way it's phrased. I love the way it sounds. It captures the mood of this topic so well, and I really, really like it. And so that's why I talked about it for Emil's birthday, because we both love this song. That's going to be it for today, I think. Thank you so much for listening. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below, tell me what you think, tell other people about this show. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
Break it down.
Good Lord. You give nothing and think it too much. We've tried nothing and we're all out of ideas.